Whenever I start a movie or show, I always try to feel the characters and understand their world. With Attack on Titan, I did the same. But from the very first episode, I realized this isn't going to be a normal anime. The beginning felt almost peaceful. Eren, Mikasa, Armin, living safe behind the walls, spending their ordinary lives. Then suddenly, the colossal titan made his destructive and terrifying entrance. With one kick, the fake sense of safety humanity lived in was shattered. I wasn't ready for what came next. Titans storming through the streets, chaos everywhere as people ran for their lives. And then that scene, Eren's mother trapped under the rubble, begging that her son doesn't have to watch her die. Hannes' decision to run away with Eren and Mikasa, and Eren's scream, filled with rage and pain. In my head, I could only think, this is happening in the first episode? In any other show, this would have been a finale-level moment. But AOT made it clear from the start, no one is safe, and this world is far too cruel. The episodes that follow are slower, not to comfort you, but to make you meet faces you'll get attached to. Sasha, stealing a potato during drills, becoming the potato girl. Jean, always clashing with Eren. Connie, energetic but clueless. Reiner and Bertholdt, trustworthy, or so it seemed. Annie, quiet, sharp-eyed, and clearly hiding something. Then came the second colossal titan attack, just as terrifying as the first. Eren charged in with fury, but the colossal vanished in a blast of steam. The Battle of Trost was pure brutality. Titans snatching soldiers midair, blood everywhere. Most soldiers couldn't even muster the courage to fight anymore, until Mikasa stepped up, leading the way, taking down a titan right in front of everyone. That was the first time we saw someone actually take down a titan. And then Armin, caught in a titan's mouth, Eren sacrificing himself to save him. Eren's death was shocking, but deep down, I couldn't believe it. His dreams, his father, the mysteries left unsolved, it felt like his story wasn't over. And it wasn't. His return, this time as the Attack Titan, was pure goosebumps. Watching him carry that boulder to seal the gate, for the first time, it felt like humanity might still have hope. Episode 6 pulled me in even deeper, where we got a glimpse into Mikasa's past, her parents' murder, her sudden confrontation with the cruelty of the world, and then Eren's entrance. Just a kid, but with fury burning in his eyes. His fight-or-die lesson wasn't inspiration. It was survival in its rawest, cruelest form. Mikasa, awakening her strength, her blades slicing, terrifying yet beautiful. That hunting lesson from her father. The strong will always prey on the weak, made me fall in love with AOT completely. That's when I realized Attack on Titan was trying to show us what the world looks like when humans are the weak ones. It forced me to think about nature, about humanity, and about how we justify power. After that, I started looking at every life differently, no matter how small. And then the scarf scene, when Eren wrapped it around Mikasa and promised to keep her safe. It seemed like a small moment, but it carried more power than most love confessions. The expedition beyond the walls was something else entirely, where we first witnessed Annie, the female Titan's entry. Her fighting techniques, spinning kicks, cunning moves, and that sharp predator's gaze were just as terrifying as they were thrilling. It became clear very quickly, she wasn't fighting, she was hunting. Then came that pure adrenaline chase through the forest with Eren. When Levi and Mikasa sliced Annie with surgical precision, their skill was so sharp it felt unreal, and Levi saving Eren, silent, efficient, without wasting a single movement. That was the exact moment he earned the title of a true badass for me. And then, the battle where the Survey Corps showed their sharpest, most desperate form. When Annie's true identity was revealed, it wasn't just a twist, it was betrayal. It was tragedy wrapped in layers. Hearing her sobs inside that crystal, realizing Annie wasn't just a villain, but also a victim, that changed everything. Her final clash with Eren wasn't just about rage and desperation. It was two broken stories colliding, emotional, raw, and painfully human. What makes Attack on Titan a masterpiece isn't just the action or the plot twists. It's how it makes you feel every second, how it drags you into despair, forces you to confront morality, and pushes you to hold on to that last thread of hope. It shows you a world that's cruel and brutally honest, and the lessons stick with you long after. AOT tells you straight, the world is cruel, people will die, hope will break, but as long as you can stand tall, as long as you can fight, and maybe, just maybe, you can actually change something. That's why I never watched Attack on Titan just for time pass. It carved itself into my heart and mind. It became a part of me. And even after the story ends, those feelings will always stay with me. Season 2 didn't just move the story forward, it completely shifted it into a new direction. From the very first episode, something felt different. The world felt smaller, the danger closer, like even the walls themselves were holding their breath. The opening gave us Mike Zacharias, humanity's second strongest soldier, surrounded by titans. The way he fought, so calm and calculated, made it feel like maybe, just maybe, he would survive. But then, the Beast Titan appeared for the first time, towering, covered in fur, different from every other Titan we had seen. Those cold eyes staring, not just at prey, but studying it. He picked up a horse like it was a toy, and then he spoke.
You must not have heard me. I told you to wait.
The moment I heard a Titan talk, I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. In that one instant, it became clear. There was still so much we didn't understand about our enemy. Mike didn't back down, but his death, it was merciless. Titans tearing him apart while the Beast watched. No pity, no rush, just cruelty. From that point on, every frame of Season 2 carried paranoia. Every face could be a mask, every ally a traitor. That tension hit its peak in Episode 6, with the iconic wall scene.
5 years ago, we compromised Walmaria and launched an attack on humanity.
There was no build-up, no shouting, no dramatics. Just Reiner casually saying to Eren, "I'm the armored Titan. He's the Colossal." So casual that for a second it didn't even register. And then the weight hit. These were Eren's friends. They had fought beside him, eaten with him. And now, they were humanity's greatest enemies. That betrayal wasn't just shocking. It rewrote the entire story. What followed was an epic battle. Eren's raw fury against Reiner's unshakable armor. Every strike felt like it could level a city. The music, the dark skies, the trembling ground. It was all pure goosebumps. But behind that spectacle, it was heartbreak, because these weren't strangers. They were brothers turned enemies. And then came Ymir's transformation. Wild, feral, one of the most thrilling moments in the series. Her jaw titan's claws and teeth, moving at a speed we'd never seen, tore through titans to protect Historia's team. But when she chose to side with Reiner and Bertholdt, it felt like the ground was ripped away again. Ymir wasn't good or evil. She was just Ymir, surviving, paying old debts, chasing her own freedom. Her bond with Historia gave us some of the season's most human moments. And then there is Sasha. Episode 2 turned her from the potato girl into a true warrior. Alone in an abandoned village, armed with nothing but a bow and a handful of arrows, she stood against a titan, just to save one child. No ODM gear, no backup, just her will. When her arrows ran out, she stabbed a titan in the eye with a knife. That wasn't skill. It was pure courage. Sasha didn't need to be humanity's strongest soldier. She was already one of its bravest. But Season 2 didn't stop there. The deepest wound came with Eren's kidnapping. Mikasa's reaction wasn't screaming or panic. It was pure, unshakable focus. She moved across the battlefield like every second mattered, her blade slicing straight for the neck, lightning fast. But her slight hesitation showed the truth. These weren't just enemies. They were people she had once trusted. And in war, no matter how cruel, is never simple when it's fought against those who were once your comrades. And then came Erwin Smith's charge. Surrounded by titans, no hope of victory, and still, he was the one at the front, screaming, "Advance!" Even when a titan tore his arm off, he still ordered his soldiers to keep charging. A blood-soaked commander with only one arm riding straight into the jaws of death. That image is burned into my mind forever.
Eren's right in front of you! Do not falter!
Season 2's climax was unforgettable. Out of nowhere, the smiling titan returned. The same one that killed Eren's mother. Hannes stepped forward, as if he could rewrite the past. But in one of fate's cruelest turns, the smiling titan killed him, right in front of Eren and Mikasa, the very children he had saved years ago. For Eren, that moment was suffocating. After all the strength, all the training, he was still powerless. Seeing Eren broken like that, Mikasa spoke, not loud, not desperate, but softly, as if the whole world was collapsing around them. She thanked him for showing her the truth of life, for giving her hope, for always being there, and for her scarf. It wasn't romance. It wasn't consolation. It was something deeper, a bond that could never be broken. And in that darkness, Attack on Titan gave us one of its most iconic moments. Eren unleashing the coordinate power for the first time. That scream, rage, pain, and sheer refusal to give up, it still gives me chills. And then, the unthinkable. The Titans turned on the Smiling Titan. It wasn't an easy victory. It wasn't clean. It was desperate, messy, a miracle clawed back from the edge of total defeat. But it was hope. Shattered, fragile hope, but still hope. Season 2 didn't just build on Season 1, it was heavier, more personal. After this, every bond, every smile, every promise felt like it carried suspicion. The line between friend and foe, between between hero and villain had blurred completely. I wasn't just watching Attack on Titan, I was living it. Every betrayal felt like a wound, every charge like a heartbeat, and every victory like gasping the first air just after nearly drowning. Season 3 was the moment when Attack on Titan stopped being just an anime for me. It became a lesson in sacrifice, leadership, and the cost of truth. I wasn't just following characters anymore, I was watching comrades I felt personally connected to. Knowing that any second could be someone's last, every episode felt like a ticking clock. But this season didn't start with Titans. It started with humans, and humans who were no less terrifying than Titans. In the narrow streets of the capital, Levi's chase scene against Kenny the Ripper and his anti-personnel squad was pure intensity. Every move Levi made was surgical, ricocheting off buildings, dodging bullets at street corners, outsmarting death with every step. And right there was Mikasa, her presence like a shadow at Levi's side, flanking enemies. Every strike calculated, her mind fixed only on keeping Eren and Historia safe. But as always, Eren was kidnapped. Beneath the chapel, in that dark stone cavern, the weight of truth finally fell. Eren chained up, facing the reality that his father, Grisha, had slaughtered the Rice family and forced Titan powers onto him. His face bent under guilt. His voice trembled with pain. And just then, chaos erupted. Kenny's squad stormed in, flashes of steel, and Mikasa went into fury mode. Blades tearing through soldiers, every strike screaming a single mission: nothing will happen to Eren, not as long as she breathes. For Hanji, this season was a transformation, from scientist to commander. Their assault against the anti-personnel squad with thunder spears was a different kind of thrill, standing firm under a rain of bullets, balancing that unshakable curiosity with duty. And then came the return to Shiganshina arc. The air was suffocating, Beast Titan outside, colossal and armored inside. Every soldier knew this was a trap, but still, they advanced. And then came Erwin Smith's speech, one of the most legendary moments in the entire series. His voice wasn't raised for drama, it was steady, fearless, grounded. Every word cut straight into the heart.
The courageous fallen! The anguished fallen! Their lives have meaning because we, the living, refuse to forget them!
He knew no one would survive, yet he looked his soldiers in the eye and roared, "Advance!" Horses thundered against the earth, boulders rained from the sky, and each soldier charged headlong into their final seconds. That wasn't just courage, it was the complete surrender of self in the name of humanity. And then Levi struck the Beast Titan himself, cutting through Zeke's Titans like a storm, his speed almost unreal, every slice surgical, every landing calculated. But the true weight wasn't in his technique, it was in his rage. This wasn't just a mission, it was vengeance. Every strike carried the voices of the dead, the cries of those who had followed Erwin into death. For a fleeting moment, it seemed like Levi would end Zeke right there. But AOT being AOT, let that moment slip away, leaving only frustration and loss. The battle inside the walls against Bertholdt and Reiner was no less chaotic than the one outside. In fact, every moment inside felt more personal. In the middle of all that havoc, Mikasa's determination was something to behold. While everyone else stayed locked to their positions, Mikasa had only two goals: save Eren at any cost, and bring Reiner down. When she launched herself into the air, ODM cables flashing, watching Reiner's armored titan fall under Hanji's thunder spear was incredible. But then, the colossal titan's heat turned the entire district into an inferno. Buildings crumbled, and the air reeked of burning flesh. And in that inferno, Armin did the unthinkable, standing on the wall, facing Bertholdt's steam until his body literally burned and collapsed. His scream still echoes in my head. I was convinced that was the end for him. But Eren wasn't just fighting with brute strength anymore. He was thinking smart. The way he distracted Bertholdt to create an opening wasn't the act of the reckless boy from Season 1 who dove headfirst into every fight. He was now part of a unit, someone who could think under crushing pressure. And when he sealed the wall with hardening, it wasn't just a tactical move, it was literally closing the nightmare that had first opened in Shiganshina years ago. And then came the unbearable choice between Armin and Erwin. For a moment, Mikasa's face broke. She rarely breaks, but when she does, the reason is always the same: her own people, her own family. Eren's cracked voice, Mikasa physically holding Levi back, her entire body trembling with rage and fear. This wasn't just about who to save. It was about surviving the pain of who they had to lose. It was about years of friendship, silent promises, and shared memories they refused to let die. When Armin was revived, there was relief. But the joy was incomplete, because in that moment, humanity lost a great commander. And when Armin opened his eyes again, when Eren looked at him, There was a strange mixture of relief and guilt in his eyes. There was no real victory there, only the haunting truth that they had saved a bright, intelligent soldier at the cost of a legendary commander. That's the real face of Attack on Titan. Even your happiest moments are stained. And then came the basement reveal. After years of mystery, the key turned, and the truth of the world was unveiled. Grisha's story, Marley, the Eldians, and the cruel reality of the world beyond Titans. Eren and Mikasa's silent faces said it all. No grand dialogue, just the quiet message that no matter how heavy the truth was, they weren't alone. Season 3 taught me that the brilliance of Attack on Titan doesn't just lie in its action, twists, or mysteries. It lies in how it makes you feel the weight of every sacrifice. Every victory comes with a cost, every truth with its burden. And maybe real strength is just this. So long as you can breathe, you keep fighting, and you hold on to that last flicker of hope, no matter the price. Season 4 begins in Marley, the world outside the walls, where Eldians live as second-class citizens, wearing armbands. Through Gabi and Falco's eyes, we see the Eldian life, filled with hatred, armbands marking them, treated like trash, propaganda, fear, and being labeled devils, cut off from humanity. One of the most traumatizing memories in Attack on Titan was Grisha's sister being taken under false pretenses and killed by dogs. Why? Because she was just an Eldian. It was deeply heartbreaking, and it still scares me today. This is not fiction. This is the pain of history. Genocides, hate, Hitler's devils, lies, and propaganda that turns humans into monsters. Attack on Titan held up a mirror and asked, "You've seen this cruelty before, haven't you?" I was shocked, but I understood. This show doesn't just entertain, it teaches deep lessons. Reiner's guilt was the heartbeat of this arc. He wasn't just the armored Titan, he was a broken human, struggling with his past while watching Falco and Gabi. Regret filled his eyes, and every word carried weight. He wasn't the enemy. He was a victim of the cycle of violence, just like Eren. This is what made Reiner human. Gabi and Falco gave the story a fresh angle. Gabi's determination, fighting for Marley, shooting soldiers on the airship, was admirable, yet terrifying. Falco's innocence, his drive to protect Gabi, touched the heart. The Marley War Theater episode was epic. Jaw, Cart, and Beast Titan's power, and death raining from above. This wasn't war glory. It was messy, personal, and unfair. Eren's arc in Season 4 was the heaviest. For 3 seasons, his POV was our compass. Through his mother's death, his insistence on saving friends, his character revealed clearly. But now, his perspective was gone. It was perfect for suspense, but it distanced us from an emotional connection with him. In Liberio, Eren sat before Reiner. The air was thick with guilt, anger, and unfinished truths. And in the next moment came Eren's transformation. The city shook, buildings collapsed, screams echoed. His ruthless, calculated carnage was horrifying. Cold eyes, confronting Reiner and Falco, years of betrayal and grief spilled out. Becoming the founding Titan, fulfilling Grisha's mission. His journey was filled with torment and moral ambiguity. Episode 7 showed that his battle against the Marleyans was not just physical, but psychological as well. Every Titan smash reflected the war raging inside him. Then comes Mikasa's entry, blades flashing, every jump with surgical flow, every strike flawless. In her eyes, fear, questions, and that same unshakable determination. I will save my Eren. Armin, sharper than ever, watches the innocent blood spill from afar, and even he finds himself conflicted. But Episode 8 broke my heart. Sasha, our potato girl, who always made us laugh, the soul of the team, was killed by Gabi's hands. One moment she was smiling with friends, the next she was bleeding out. Her final words, joking about meat, shattered me. Her absence left a permanent scar on the team, and on me. But I couldn't bring myself to hate Gabi, because she was just like Season 1 Eren. She lost friends in Marley and wanted revenge. People hate Gabi for taking one life, but forgive Eren even after killing millions of innocents. If that's the case, then you've completely missed the point of Attack on Titan. This show isn't about choosing sides. It's about breaking the cycle of hate. Falco's innocence, his desperate attempts to protect Gabi, showed that even in a cruel world, there's still hope. AOT taught us, no one is purely evil. Everyone is a victim of their circumstances. Episode 14 gave us Levi's forest ambush. The way he sliced Zeke to pieces was savage. His speed, skill, fury, pure badassery. But it wasn't just revenge, it was grief, burning for his squad. That's the Levi people call humanity's strongest soldier. His story showed that no matter how deep the pain, the wrong path is never the answer. Zeke Yeager redefined complexity. The paths scene with Eren, reliving Grisha's memories, was haunting beyond words. His euthanasia plan was twisted, but his pain was real. A childhood of hatred, betrayal by his parents, the demonization of Eldians. Zeke wasn't a villain, but a broken man. He believed sterilizing Eldians was mercy. Wrong, yes, but tragic too. Zeke wasn't evil, just a shattered soul who mistook mercy for extinction. Mikasa's quiet strength always stood out. From the very beginning, she wasn't just protecting Eren. She was holding together the little family she still had left. As battles grew harsher, their bond went through agonizing tests, and perhaps the most painful moment was when Eren looked into her eyes and spoke the anime's greatest lie. "I've always hated you, Mikasa." I knew he didn't mean it. His voice carried too much pain. He was pushing her away while inside, all he wanted was for her to stay. Mikasa's journey wasn't just about fighting titans. It was about carrying a love that was both her greatest strength and her deepest curse. A love that, in the end, demanded the ultimate sacrifice. The story raised the stakes every step. Eren versus Reiner, the Jaw Titan's fierce arrival, and then, one of the most shocking moments ever, Gabby's gunshot. Eren's head flying, and in the very last second, Zeke catching it like a miracle. I was frozen to the screen, but nothing could prepare me for the truth that followed. Eren wasn't just a prisoner of fate, he was its author. For years we thought he was trapped by visions of the future, but the truth? He was changing the past itself. It was Eren who whispered into Grisha's ear, who bent history's path, who ensured every tragedy happened exactly as it did. That boy who once dreamed of freedom, he wasn't fate's slave, he had become fate itself. Then came the Yeagerists' chaos, the mid-season betrayals, every scene soaked in consequences. There were no clean victories. In the riots, Mikasa evacuated civilians, dropped snipers, transforming into a soldier both quiet and ruthless, more leader, more human than ever. An alliance was born, with former enemies, Reiner, Annie, Peak, and standing against them, Eren, in the terrifying, unmatched form of the founding Titan, with an army of death behind him. Armin's final goodbye, Mikasa, torn between heart and mission, breaking every moment yet standing tall every time. And Hanji, her coordination in the fight against the Yeagerists and during the rumbling, was the evolution of a scientist into a true leader. Then, when Eren finally confessed that he was a slave to freedom, chained to the visions of the future, unable to escape what he'd already seen, it was powerful, but it also felt rushed. I wanted to watch him wrestle with that fate, the way Jonas Kahnwald fought against time and dark, or how Anakin Skywalker's descent was given room to breathe. The rumbling was his biggest decision, and I wish we had been given the time to fully understand it. And then, the rumbling began. The walls shattered, and the colossal titans that had been sleeping for centuries awoke. The ground itself trembled. Eren's founding titan, towering and grotesque, trampling the world. It was visually overwhelming and emotionally devastating. The scene of the mother and child, straight out of Schindler's List in its symbolism, was gut-wrenching. That mother, that child, they weren't just characters, they were our humanity. Every thunderous footstep of those titans shook the earth, and my chest along with it. In the chaos, Armin's desperate strategies, Levi's surgical strikes, Hanji's furious coordination, and Mikasa's quiet agony gave every moment unbearable intensity. The Alliance, Survey Corps, Marlians, former enemies standing side by side, was epic. Reiner and Annie's redemption arcs, John's grit, every one of them added weight to the finale. But the rumbling wasn't just destruction. It was the collapse of Eren's soul, his desperation, his fall into moral darkness. His genocide was wrong, yet it was born out of a twisted desperation for freedom. The tragedy wasn't that Eren became a monster. The tragedy was that his arc wasn't given the build-up it deserved. With 2 more seasons, his descent into genocide could have been one of the greatest tragedies ever written in fiction. And then came the choice. The final cut, the final goodbye. Eren's head in her arms, tears in her eyes, Mikasa both stopped him and set him free. No fanfare, no music swelling, just the sound of breaking breaths. For me, that was the most emotional moment of the entire series. That final scene, her tears for Eren, her silence in the middle of the world's chaos, left scars on my heart and mind. The score, the visuals, I broke down completely. Mikasa wasn't just the strength of Attack on Titan. She was its soul. Her journey showed the unbearable weight of living between love and duty. Her love for Eren was never annoying, never shallow. It was raw, human, constant. The ending was masterful, but rushed. Eren's death was heartbreaking. The victory was not clean. The peace was not simple. The idea that war and hate would continue, it was true, but it was also crushing. Part of me wished for a Lelouch-style ending, Eren's death becoming a meaningful sacrifice that would bring lasting peace. or for Zeke to emerge as the true villain, with Eren, Armin, and Mikasa fighting for a better world. But AOT never gave us that comfort. It replaced hope with truth. War never ends. The world may have changed, but the seed of hate remained. And that's not just AOT's truth. It's our world's too. War continues. Hatred only shifts its form. It never disappears. The ending was beautiful, painful, truthful, and yes, depressing. Because this was never just a story about Titans. It was a story about us. Mikasa's backstory showed what it feels like to be treated like an animal. Grisha's sister, the demonization of the Eldians, mirrors of real history. The cycle of hate, the weight of vengeance, embodied in Gabi and Eren. People hated Gabi for taking one life, but forgave Eren after millions. AOT's message was clear: don't pick sides, break the cycle. In AOT, every betrayal cut like a wound. Every battle pounded like a heartbeat. Every truth forced us to see the world differently. And yet, the beauty of Attack on Titan is that no matter how massive the story became, time loops, gods, wars, it always came back to its characters. Armin, carrying the unbearable weight of leadership. Levi, broken but unbent. Historia, the queen who never wanted a crown. And at the end, Mikasa, the girl standing on the edge of love and betrayal. When the whole world was begging for salvation, the end didn't come from a king, a god, or an army. It came from a girl with a red scarf. The girl who loved someone too deeply. The girl who had to kill the person she loved most. Eren's tragedy was that he gained the world but lost himself. Mikasa's tragedy was that she saved the world but lost her own. Together, they wrote one of the most beautiful, heartbreaking stories, not just in anime, but in all of fiction. Attack on Titan was a brutal, gorgeous, shattered mirror that forced us to see our own world's reflection. It made me cry. It made me think. It made me feel. It reminded me that every life matters. And most of all, it made me see things as a human. In the end, isn't that what a great story is meant to do?